absolutely unbelievable. It's a tie game! Woo! Finally! Go Leafs, go! It's not baseball, but let's see a rally. Let's go Leafs! Shh. What a game. Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media, everybody. As always, I'm your guy, Jake, and it's been far too long since I've done one of these post-game streams, and I'm going to be doing this for every game in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's going to be a very fun series. This was a very entertaining Game 1 in this series. I want to know what your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know how you're feeling about this game. The Tampa Bay Lightning take Game 1 of this series 5-1 over the Montreal Canadiens. The Tampa Bay Lightning are showing why they are the defending Stanley Cup champions. This team is going to be a very daunting task for the Montreal Canadiens to overcome. But if there's a team that can do it, it's the Montreal Canadiens. They have proved time and time again, do not count this team out. Don't count them out because in Game 1, they lost 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Don't do it. Please don't count them out. I told you this after Game 4 of the Toronto Maple Leafs series when it was a 3-1 series. I told Leafs fans and Habs fans, don't get ahead of yourself. The series isn't over. It's a one game. I know it was 5-1. The series isn't over. Let's just make that clear. This was a very entertaining game, though. Joseph Clark says Lightning in 7. Brenda says awesome game. This was an awesome game. This was a very entertaining game. The Montreal Canadiens, this is a very wow type of stat. So that fifth goal of the game, scored by Steven Stamkos on the power play, that power play goal is the first power play goal allowed by the Montreal Canadiens since Game 4 of their series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Weeks ago. The Montreal Canadiens penalty kill has been stellar. They're 32 for 32 before that power play goal by Steven Stamkos. Just adding icing to the cake for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 5-1. But this game was really, it was a great game. And let's take a look at the 3 stars of this game. Tonight, the 3 stars, I got to go with Nikita Kucherov as the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. He was all over the place. Stellar. He is a stellar talent. Second star, it's Braden Point. He had 3 assists in this game tonight. And then third star, I know Andrei Vasilevsky, he only allowed 1 goal, but he didn't face that many shots. So I'm not going to give him the third star of the game. Rather, I'm going to give it to Erik Cernak. Erik Cernak opened the scoring in this series, his first career playoff goal, and I thought he was good defensively. He made some big plays, laid some hits, had some block shots. Erik Cernak's the third star. Your second star, Braden Point with 3 assists, and first star, Nikita Kucherov, flying all over the ice tonight. Kucherov laser scores like I do in NHL 21. Here's that goal that you're talking about. Nikita Kucherov. Check this out.
And Tampa's up 4-1. Good job by Paul.
Whew. He has a laser shot. Nikita Kucherov. That was an amazing shot and added to the score for the Lightning. Joe Shelder in the comment section. Hey, long time no see, Joe. Yeah, I haven't been streaming very much. The Leafs are out. There's not much to stream about, but I'm going to be here every game for the Stanley Cup Finals post game. So if you want to come check out these post game shows after these games, I hope to see you here. I'm looking to talk hockey, and there's some exciting stuff coming up in the next month or so. The expansion draft's going to be happening. Before you know it, the NHL entry draft. There's a lot of stuff coming up. But right now it's the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to focus on that before we get into the off-season stuff, all the rumors, the trade talk, all that fun stuff. Tonight, big game. Andrew says, I'll be watching videos soon. Yeah, there'll be more stuff Leafs related out in the near future. But right now we got to talk Montreal Canadiens, Tampa Bay Lightning. These two teams have earned the right to be talked about. The Montreal Canadiens are an underdog. The 18th seed in the NHL has made it this far to the Stanley Cup Finals. And they're going up against the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is a very daunting task, but I think the Montreal Canadiens, don't count them out. Do not count this team out. Far too many times they've surprised us. What team do you want to win? I don't want Montreal to win. I'll never say I want Montreal to win, but I also don't want the Lightning to win. The only team I can cheer for is the Leafs. I'm not really cheering for either team here. I'm just watching this as a hockey fan. These are two teams that are usually both in the same division as the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll never cheer for either of these two teams. But the team I don't like as much is obviously the Montreal Canadiens. I don't care that they're representing Canada. They've earned that right. But I don't care that they're the Canadian team. I don't feel obligated to cheer for them just because of that. That's my answer to that question. I'm just watching this as a hockey fan and enjoying this series. I hope this series goes 7 games, and I hope it's a double overtime finish. I want this thing to just be the greatest display of hockey we can possibly get, because these two teams, I think they're going to match up great. You saw it. This was a very physical game. There was over 100 hits tonight. 115 hits between these two teams. These two teams are physical juggernauts. Montreal had 58 hits. Tampa Bay had 57 hits. Tampa Bay matched the physicality of the Montreal Canadiens. 115 hits total. That physicality is something that separates good competitive playoff teams from teams that don't have success in the playoffs. And I'm not going to name that team. Just saying. Physical hockey. Look at that. You need to be able to take it, and you need to be able to dish it out if you want to make it far and go to the Stanley Cup Finals. These two teams are here for a reason. Tampa's power play can't be stopped. There's so much chemistry. This team has so much chemistry. The Tampa Bay Lightning power play, it's going to be hard to stop. The Montreal Canadiens penalty kill, it's stellar. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, they were 1 for 3 tonight, and they scored the first power play goal against the Montreal Canadiens since Game 4 of the Montreal Canadiens series against Toronto. So this was a very long time ago. The Montreal Canadiens, prior to allowing that garbage time goal by Steven Stamkos to make it 5-1, they were 32 for 32. The last 32 penalty kill attempts, they killed them all off. It's a very good penalty kill unit. Yes, Tampa Bay has a stellar power play, of course, but it's going to be an interesting matchup to watch throughout the entirety of this series. I mean, 2 top-end special teams units going up against each other. John Howard says, I don't like Montreal, but congrats to them. Good for them. And yes, you know what? Definitely. Hats off to the Montreal Canadiens. Their season's definitely not over. It's 1 game in this series. But hats off to them for the effort that they have made. They have been underrated this entire season. Think about what Montreal has gone through, okay? The Montreal Canadiens, they were second place for a long time in the North Division. They're second place for a long time in that regular season. But then they fell and slid down the rankings. But they were injured. A lot of injuries were sustained from the Montreal Canadiens. You had Carey Price injured. You had Brendan Gallagher, broken thumb, out. I believe Shea Weber was out. Thomas Tatar, Jonathan Drouin. The list goes on. The Montreal Canadiens had a lot of injuries. Yeah, they have been slept on for far too long, and they've overcome a lot of obstacles. They were down 3-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't have to remind you, Leafs Nation, they were down to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1 in the first series. They came back. This is a resilient group with a lot of Stanley Cup winning experience. Shea Weber, Joel Edmondson, Corey Perry. These are guys who have won the Stanley Cup. They know what it takes. This team, there's no quitting them. People said, okay, they can't beat the Leafs. They did it in 7. Winnipeg, no, it's not going to happen. They swept them in 4 games. No competition there. And then Vegas, people are saying once Montreal makes it out of the North Division, it's game over. They beat Vegas in 6 games. Don't sleep on the Montreal Canadiens. Please don't do it. Asterisk next to this cup as well? No. I don't think there's an asterisk involved with this Stanley Cup at all. Tell me why there would be. Is it? I'm very curious to know why there would be. Montreal is getting skunked this series, no doubt. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're defending Stanley Cup champions. This team is a very good team, but Montreal, don't count them out. Don't count them out. Carey Price is a great goaltender. They're a shutdown team who's going to try to wear you down defensively. But what I was very impressed by from the Tampa Bay Lightning was how they matched the physicality of the Montreal Canadiens in this game. 58 hits to 57 in favor of Montreal. 115 total hits. That's insane. A very physical matchup. And that's really setting the tone for the rest of the series. It's going to be a very entertaining series to watch. It's going to be a lot of physicality. And I think that this first game, it's not indicative of what we're going to see the rest of the series. I don't think this is going to be a sweep by any means of my imagination. I think this is going to be back and forth, a lot of tight games. This first game was kind of just trying to settle in, calm the nerves, and figure out your opponent. The Montreal Canadiens, there's a lot of young players on there who have never been to this stage before. Think about Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. These guys have butterflies, so they're just kind of figuring out what it's like in the Stanley Cup Finals, figuring out their new opponent, and they need to be prepared. The Montreal Canadiens, the next game for them, it's a massive one, and that will take place in 2 nights from now. That is on Wednesday night in Tampa Bay again. It's going to be huge because the Montreal Canadiens, the last thing they want is to go home down 2-0 to the defending Stanley Cup champions. That next game will be a big one. Yeah, both teams got to get used to each other. We're not in the North Division, or the teams aren't in their own divisions anymore, okay? These teams haven't seen each other in over a year. They got to get comfortable playing against each other. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams match up against each other. I think this can be, you saw it. It was very chippy. It was a chippy game, especially towards the end of it. There's no love lost between these two teams, and it's going to be very, very entertaining to watch this. All Montreal has to do with win 1 road game and all 3 home games, and they'll take home in 6. Don't turn your backs on Montreal. Jonathan, that's a great comment. So don't sleep on Montreal. Still, it's 1 game. It's 1 game. 1 game. Game 1 of this series. There's a lot of hockey to be played. And if the Montreal Canadiens can win this next game, guess what? They're going to go back to Montreal tied with the defending Super Bowl champ or Stanley Cup champions. So, yeah, win that next game. 1 game at a time for the Montreal Canadiens. Wasn't your night tonight, but Wednesday night they need to come back out. I think they'll come out firing Wednesday. What player needs to step up for Montreal? Well, I think getting Joel Armia back, that will be big for them. But honestly, they just need everyone to be better. It's hard to pinpoint one player. I think Ben Sherratt he had a rotten night tonight. Ben Sherratt, it was a rough night for him. It was a weird type of night. I'll say that Ben Sherratt needs to step up for sure. He's eaten up valuable minutes for the Montreal Canadiens blue line this entire postseason. He needs to be better for them. I think he had a plus minus of -3 tonight, and he was shaky, took a penalty. Ben Sherratt needs to be better. Joel Armia will definitely be a boost. I think he's going to go back in favor of Jake Evans. Uh, he's just been Jake Evans hasn't. This tonight was Jake Evans' first game back since he was taken out by Mark Scheifele with that filthy, dirty hit. So Joel Armia will be a big boost, and I think Ben Sherratt definitely needs to be better on the blue line. He's been a rock for them defensively throughout the season, but tonight it wasn't his night. Scored on his own night too. Yeah, it was a tough night for Ben Sherratt for sure. He was frustrated. I'm a Leafs fan as well, but I believe in my Canadian teams. I don't think the North Division is as weak as people labeled it to be. Seriously. The lowest ranked team out of the North Division is in the Stanley Cup Finals right now. So what's that tell you? It's a very competitive division. Uh, I thought that the Pacific Division was rather weak. Yeah, you had Colorado and you had Vegas, two of the top teams in the NHL. But after that, what, St. Louis, Minnesota, they had California-based teams to feast on as well. I thought that was division. That division was weaker overall than the North Division. And as for Jake Evans, since Game 1 versus the Jets, so he missed 10 games. Yeah, Jake Evans, he needs to get back into the groove of it. I think that Joel Armia will be a big boost. He's really nice on that fourth line with Eric Stahl and Corey Perry, and he can be good on the penalty kill for them as well. He eats up valuable minutes, and the Leafs Nation, you remember what he did to us? He had a big 2-goal night against the Maple Leafs. He had another 2-goal night the next series against Winnipeg as well. Luke Richardson, it's a tough spot for him. And for those of you that don't know what Andrew's talking about with this comment, he's referring to Luke Richardson, who's an assistant coach for the Montreal Canadiens, but he was kind of forced to step in to be the interim head coach to the interim head coach. Does that make sense? So earlier in the season, the Montreal Canadiens fired Claude Julien, their original head coach, headed into the season, and then Dominic Ducharme was hired as an intern. Well, Ducharme led this team all the way to the series against the Vegas Golden Knights, and I think he missed 4 games in that series. They still, with their head coach being, that's big. And then this next series, again, Dominic Ducharme still out until Game 3. Fortnite gamer, please stop spamming. But Dominic Ducharme, it's really hard. It's really hard to play without your head coach there. So it's Luke Richardson. He's been in a tough spot, but I think it is what it is, really. The Montreal Canadiens, they can look at that in 2 different ways. They can say, hey, we don't have Dominic Ducharme with us. Let's use this as motivation to kick butt and win for him, which that's the approach that I think they'll take. Or they could take another approach and be like, we don't have our head coach. Let's just, yeah. They're not going to be a shell of themselves because their coach is missing. It's just something that's going to motivate them. In your opinion, do you like this current divisional alignment? No, I like it. I like it the way it was prior to this. before the pandemic happened. I don't want to see the North Division ever again, to be honest. It was cool for a year, but that's enough of it. Honestly, that's enough of it. So, how's everyone feeling about tonight's game? It was a great game to watch. Honestly, a great game tonight. 5-1. It was lopsided. More towards the end, the Tampa Bay Lightning added on. The Montreal Canadiens started this game off shaky. They were trying to gain momentum. They got that momentum late in the second period when they scored a goal. But it was all Tampa Bay Lightning from there on out. When the Lightning came back out in the third period, they took over the game for the remainder of the way. So this was a great game to watch. It's going to be a very entertaining series for sure. And tonight, let's go over some stats here. And I think that this stat was crazy. Blake Coleman had 11 hits tonight. 11 hits. He's going to be bruised up, but so are the Montreal Canadiens players. So tonight, Carey Price, 22 saves on 27 shot attempts. So it's all right. All right night for Carey Price. The team in front of him was rather shaky. It wasn't Carey Price's best night by any stretch of the imagination, but it was an all right game for him. Andrei Vasilevsky. He had a good night, but he wasn't really tested all that much. 19 shots against, 18 saves for. Andrei Vasilevsky, he's a stud. These are two of the best goaltenders in the NHL, if not the two best goaltenders in the NHL. Braden Point had 3 assists tonight. Braden Point was all over the place. Man, the Tampa Bay Lightning are loaded. They are stacked, and they're trying to build a dynasty. This is going to be a great series to watch. I hope to see you guys in more of these post-game streams. I'm going to be here after every single game throughout the Stanley Cup Finals. Thank you for watching. Until next time, go Leafs go, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, go Leafs go. Who cares? Go Leafs go. Until next time.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's a tie game! Woo! Finally! Go Leafs, go! It's not baseball, but let's see a rally. Let's go Leafs!
Shh.